those that are ahead of him in the points out of the equation, because they're not here, then he is going to be the target driver. Down in the pit lane, the team's getting themselves ready, and we will shortly have a green flag to release the cars. It is, as ever, you might anticipate in this region, a hot and sunny day, and many of the European teams trying to adapt to the heat. Now, we've already had one saloon car practice session, and as you can see, an awful lot of dramas befell the drivers, and that in turn means that a lot of litter has been dragged onto the circuit. Here in Irungatakottai, we have a track length of 3.717 kilometres, and at the moment track temperature 31 degrees. The air temperature is a very hot 30, and it's set to get even hotter as the day goes on. It's a very complex circuit with lots of challenges. You've got a reasonably long pit straight, but then as you start to work your way to the back part of the circuit, it's corner after corner after corner. Mistakes easy to be prompted out of drivers, and of course if you start to run wide and make mistakes, and as you've just seen with the marshals sweeping the track, bringing some of the gravel onto the road, it creates yet another problem for the people behind. So this first single-seater session of the day is going to be a fascinating one. David Addison and Louise Beckett with you as the circuit is just about good to go. The race officials will be having a look at the pictures. They'll be looking out of the window and making sure that the circuit is clean and ready. And down in the pit line, ready to go, is number 99, which is RAGHUL Rangasamy, and there the blue and black car of Rangasamy, who was one of the drivers who skipped the first races in Delhi. So Rangasamy comes here this weekend, behind in the championship, but one to watch. So his car set to go. We've got one of the course cars just having made its way down the pit lane, so in a few moments we should be getting the green flag, ready to release the field out onto the circuit, ready for this free practice session. 10 cars we have. Not everybody has had a good start to the day, though. You can see from the earlier saloon session what happens if you do get it wrong, with a rather broken front right and front left suspension for the Suzuki being towed away. There's an awful lot of TLC that is going to be needed for that car before its qualifying session. As the klaxon has sounded in the pit lane, cars now venturing down the pit road. ANINDITH REDDY is indeed ready to go, having strapped himself in, and he will very shortly head down the pit road. You can see the queue of cars now starting to form, with KUMAR at the head of the queue in number 6. And the race officials will get the indication from race control when the track is clear, and then we'll start to piece together this session and see who is going to do what in terms of time, and indeed how that might well start to affect things for a grid a little bit later on when we get to qualifying. So ANINDITH REDDY prepares himself, staying for the moment in the shade of the pit garages. The car's being held at the end of the pit road. Mechanics, engineers all ready, should they be required for mid-session pit stops, and the Volkswagen safety car heads to its resting place as well. The green flag is waved then, and so the field now ventures out, headed by Kumar. Behind him is Siddharth Trivalora in number 91. And gradually the pit lane starts to empty itself. In number 8 there, heading down the pit road, Ishwan Dodiwala. Number 2 behind is, as we've already seen, ANINDITH REDDY. Number 1 is SAMPATH Kumar. Number 7 in the red MRF colours, Chetan Korada, and he's going to be one to watch, I suspect. And then ARYA SINGH there in number 10 is at the back of the queue. So everybody venturing out, everybody in this category with the same base car, because for both of the MRF categories it's effectively single make. So these cars all with the 1.6 litre Ford Duratec engine. They're 140 brake horsepower. The cars built by Van Diemen, but unlike an old-fashioned Formula Ford 1600, as it were, they have a wing, and so there's the aerodynamics to factor into all of this as well. Hewland 5-speed sequential shift gearbox that they have, and of course they're all on MRF rubber. So as they thread their way around the back part of the circuit, out of the wilderness to a degree, number 91 there you can see is Siddharth Trivalora, who was one of the drivers that missed the Delhi races. So it's going to be a very jumbled championship come the end of this weekend as far as the 1600s are concerned. They get 2 races rather than the 4 of the MRF Challenge, but even so, it's a competitive series, this. And there you're looking at number 6, which is Sandeep Kumar, who's ventured out on track nice and early, and already trying to make a little bit of progress. RAGHUL Rangasamy around the outside of 91 Siddharth Trevalori, who is either making sure all is well with the car, or perhaps rather more shrewdly buying himself some clear track space, and then he might be able to go for a time unaffected. Sandeep Kumar then comes out of the final corner up towards the timing line, starting to jig left and right to try and get some warmth into the tyres as he heads then over the line. And as he does so, now we'll start to get lap times through at the end of this first flying lap of the session. So it is Anand who is the championship leader with a win and a third, and Nayan Chatterjee also with effectively a third and a win. He did it in reverse. He's the joint championship leader, but they're not here this weekend. So ANINDITH REDDY from Alex Bora, the next 2. Now Alex Bora is another driver skipping this weekend, so as I say, it's a very different entry, and it's going to have a real effect on how the championship looks come the end of the weekend. In number 6 then, another one keeping out of trouble, Sandeep Kumar. Now he was first across the timing line, so Sandeep Kumar effectively giving up the option of a quick time on this lap. There you have a shot of the infield of the circuit. So 10 cars we're anticipating, only 9 thus far, I think I'm right in saying, have headed out onto the circuit, and at the end of this next lap we'll start to get proper times offered up as 91 then turns through Siddharth Trevalori, accelerating his way from the furthest extremity. Now pushing on, number 16 there, starting to get well wound up, KARTHIK THARANI. See the effort was being put in, riding wide over the curb, looking at the wheels, the right-hand wheels on the inside of the curb through the next sequence of corners, and then down now towards the end of the lap. So this is going to be the first proper time of the session, really, as far as the car of THARANI is concerned. He does a 1:48.288, but actually the best has been done by RAGHUL Rangasamy, 1:44.972. So Rangasamy it is who is currently the fastest by 3.3 seconds, which is very good indeed at the moment. So KARTHIK THARANI, hard at work. We saw on the previous lap how he was pushing on and riding the curve. He's doing it again here. So let's see what the outcome is going to be by the end of this lap as he threads his way now up towards the middle part of the circuit. The one that we've not yet heard through to do a time is Chetan Korada, but in fact, yes, he's gone by now, running somewhat out of sequence, really. The circuit here at Irangotakotai, owned by the Madras Motorsport Club, based in Sriperumbudur, and we're on the edge of the industrial town near Kanchipuram in the district of Tamil Nadu. It's 11 metres wide, this circuit, 12 major corners, and you've also got the option to have a sort of smaller club circuit. But the full international circuit is what is in use this weekend. So dust kicked up by KARTHIK THARANI as he presses on, and behind is Siddharth Trevalori. Now they are second and fifth in the times respectively at the moment, but Trevalori looking as though this could be an improvement for him this time around. Let's see. Next gaggle of cars has just gone pouring over the timing line, but it is still RAGHUL Rangasamy who is the quickest. Now he's brought the time down, 1 minute 40.681 now, getting on with the job. And KARTHIK THARANI also starting to pick up pace, because the margin is 2.789 seconds between first and second. Up the curb goes Siddharth Trevalora. Many of these drivers car race rookies coming out of karting. If you follow international single-seater racing, don't think for a minute that ANINDITH Reddy is related to Tarun Reddy. They're different Reddys, friends, but also fierce rivals. And ANINDITH Reddy is currently third fastest. There, in number 99, is the fastest man so far, RAGHUL Rangasamy, working his way then down towards turn 14, anchors up, turns through the right-hander then, and onto the pit straight. Pit in on the right-hand side, just coming into turn 14, which he's avoided. He goes now over the timing line, into turn 1, through the right-hander, that loops him round. Short straight, pit out on the right-hand side, and then into turn 2, another right-hander. Hard on the brakes, a sharp left at turn 3, the kink at turn 4, and then up towards 5 and 6, where you've got this sequence at the S's effectively now. Go right and then left. Out of turn 6 comes RAGHUL Rangasamy. This lap looking a fairly gentle one. He improved last time on a 140.401. This time around though, he's looking a lot more gentle. And virtually slowing right down. Yes, he's letting the traffic go, so Rangasamy has done his bit for the moment. There is one car missing, and it is that of Anthony George, which surprises me, because the Emirati driver, I thought I had seen at least the car down in the pit lane. It was certainly prepared and his name above one of the garages, but he's not ventured out on track. You don't have to do free practice, of course. If you can't get here in time, there's always qualifying. You don't need to do this necessarily, but fingers crossed it's not going to put him out for the rest of the weekend and that he will be here. But that's why we've got just the 9 at the moment. Now, is that damage potentially on Sandeep Kumar's front wing? Looks rather more lopsided than one or two others. Not by much, but it's a little bit more droopy on the right than other cars. So Sandeep Kumar may have whacked a curb somewhere. It might be a demon setup. Is it working for him? Well, he's 1.9 seconds to find as you look at number 2, ANINDITH Reddy. He powers his way up towards the timing line and is still 4th fastest, ANINDITH Reddy. Is there going to be an improvement? Let's see. A 142.626, his best previously. He breaks the timing beam, and that puts him 2nd fastest, 141.981. And RAGHUL Rangasamy, who we've been looking at on a slow lap, has just come into the pit lane. So he is the fastest in this session. But Rangasamy now down the pit road and really pressing on. ANINDITH Reddy, he's got quicker and quicker and quicker as this free practice period has gone on. And now ready to strike, you could argue, because he's got better pace lap by lap by lap. Let's see how he fares now, because he's got no traffic ahead of him. So through the S's goes Reddy in the green, white and red, almost Prema Power Team coloured Van Diemen. Clips the curb, but as you can see, with the road to himself now, he can concentrate on the optimum line, doesn't have to worry about traffic. KARTHIK THARANI is 3rd fastest, Sandeep Kumar is 4th, Chetan Korada is 5th, 6th is Siddharth Trevalora, 7th quickest ARYA SINGH, 8th quickest Ishan Dodhiwala, and 9th is SAMPATH Kumar. That is the order at the moment. So through turns ANINDITH Reddy. We'll see come the end of this lap whether he can improve. Well, he's now down to 3rd because KARTHIK THARANI in number 16 has just gone up to 2nd fastest on a 141.426. So KARTHIK THARANI is now the man to watch, but here comes ANINDITH REDDY out of the last corner, up towards the timing line, bit of a wobble as he gets the power down. The car squirms to the curb, goes over the timing line, and the lap that he has just done is a 1:42.322. So actually, there was a hint of overdriving in all of that. There was an awful lot of effort put in, but it was a slower lap, and again, he kicks up the dirt as he rounds turns 1 and 2. So for ANINDITH REDDY, a big commitment, but I'm afraid in the end, it didn't pay out for him. So what have we got left in the session? We are still really with 2/3 to go. We've got another 18 minutes yet. As past the new building on the infield goes the charging ANINDITH REDDY. Now, who else is improving lower down the order? Well, KUMAR has dropped a place, but number 10, ARYA SINGH, has been an improver. Through the trees there, a quick glimpse of SAMPATH KUMAR, number 1, who remains, I'm afraid, at the foot of the times, but he's just made a pit stop and rejoined. Though number 6, KUMAR, turning his way up towards the completion of the lap. And there is ANINDITH REDDY, still pushing on as he works his way now up towards turns 10 and 11. Past a little cut through from the club circuit. But RAGHUL Rangasamy remains the man to beat in this session, and the time that he's done, 1:40.401. Now they're pushing on is KARTHIK THARANI, who is bringing down that gap. It's down to a second now. 1.025 is the margin between Rangasamy and KARTHIK THARANI. He works his way up through turn 3. And let's see what THARANI can do on this next lap, because he's just lost, would you believe, that second fastest time. ANINDITH REDDY has got within the magic second of RAGHUL Rangasamy, who has been the real gun in this. So it is Rangasamy from REDDY from THARANI. So this is KARTHIK THARANI's next lap, but what can he do? Well, we'll see as he works his way up now through the right-hander. Threads his way through the S's, and Rangasamy 0.879 over ANINDITH REDDY. That is the margin at the moment in this free practice session. Not that it affects the grid, but it does give an indication of who might be quick come the qualifying session later on today. So as we approach the halfway point, KARTHIK THARANI turns his way through, accelerates down towards the next right, will loop him in turn, round towards the final left-hander. And then as the road starts to bring him down towards the end of the lap, we'll start to see indications shortly of what the time might be. No, we won't, because he bails for the pit lane. So KARTHIK THARANI has a mid-session stop. So number 1, SAMPATH KUMAR, goes through there over the timing line. Number 10, ARYA SINGH. Now he had been improving a little while ago, but Singh currently is 6th fastest. And goes way, way wide, and that is not going to help at all. Big spin coming out of turn 1 up towards turn 2. And ARYA SINGH is decidedly off song. He will get going from there, hopefully, but he's brought a whole load of muck and bullets onto the circuit. And yes, he does fire it up, but ARYA SINGH, rather red-faced now after that spin, gets going. And with very dirty tyres, lose this lap because he's going to have to clean them. He whacks the curb on the way into turn 1. That's what unsettles it, and it gets a bit of a tank slapper, goes left and then right, runs onto the dirt. But unfortunately, I think Singh kept his foot in and lost momentum. Round came the back, and it was a big lurid slide that then became a big spin. And look at the rocks almost being chucked onto the road. So ARYA SINGH fires it up, rejoins. It could be indeed that this time he does pit, just to try and clean the tyres and make sure that all is well with that car after its excursion. So ARYA Singh, who had in the first race in Delhi a 7th and went one better in the second race and got a 6th, currently 6th in free practice. Number 8 up the road there, Ishan Dodiwala, number 10 behind ARYA Singh then, so undaunted, trying to pick up the pace. And what have we got? 13 minutes still on the clock. 1 or 2 more heading down the pit road, such as Siddharth Trebalora. And there, number 7 through is Chetan Korada, who has been a bit anonymous in this session, but in fairness has been getting on with the job because he's bringing down his lap time. He's got it down to a 1:41.590 now. So things are improving for him. Chetan Korada, who currently is 6th in the championship. And there is SAMPATH Kumar, still, I'm afraid to say, at the foot of the time. Sandeep Kumar is in the pit lane. Ishan Dodiwala is in the pit lane as well. So minor adjustments to be made. There's not much you can do. Tyre pressures, perhaps wing settings, but you can see all of a sudden the pit lane has become very, very busy. ANINDITH Reddy, who was a pitter, has gone back out again. RAGHUL Rangasamy, who pitted a bit earlier than most, he's also gone back out, and perhaps not surprisingly, ARYA Singh is now in as well, after his rather dirty tyres. Needed some attention after his big spin. So there is Reddy, 3rd quickest now, back on track. But this will be an outlap, so I don't think it's going to come to much. You can see him getting the tyres up to temperature once again. Very light cars, they only weigh 450 kilos, a bit of understeer as he works his way right. But ANINDITH Reddy now is 0.8 of a second behind RAGHUL Rangasamy. As the session has gone on, everybody's closing up to the quickest driver. Rangasamy had that massive 3.3 second advantage right at the start, and now it's only 0.6 of a second. So they've got on with the job very nicely. They're all closing up to Rangasamy, with now Sandeep Kumar, second fastest, being 0.640 of a second. You've got only 3 within a second of each other, Rangasamy, Kumar and Reddy. They therefore are going to be the drivers to beat this weekend, it would appear. But very definitely now, ANINDITH Reddy starting to accelerate his way towards not only the end of this outlap, but a flying lap which might get him into the top 2 once again. He comes over the brow, sets the car up, turns right. Very, very wide, over the curb, onto the dirt, and that, I fear, may well compromise the start of this flying lap as he picked up much grass in the air intake a little bit. You see on the left-hand side, bounces over the curb, the car hops a little bit, but as he works his way then now over the gravel brought onto the road by the errant ARYA Singh from earlier on, now ANINDITH Reddy with the road to himself, because most other people have either just rejoined after a pit stop or are in the pits. He's got the road to himself, but he might have squandered a bit of time with that off coming out of the final corner. So let's see, can he regroup from that? We don't get sector times at the moment, but we just get the final lap time, and the one to beat is 1:40.401 as he heads then now up towards the midpoint of the lap. Turn left, turn right, the car again, oh so close to getting away from him as he flicks it through the right-hander. Another little quiver as he rides the curb, so you can't fault the commitment being put in here by ANINDITH Reddy. The only question is whether he's overdriving it a touch. Working his way then now down once more towards the right-hander. As he accelerates towards the completion of this lap, we've got still a third of the session to go, still 9 minutes of this session remaining. So ANINDITH REDDY heads up towards the timing line. The time to beat of anybody's is a 1:40.401. He's got a corner to go. Sandeep Kumar, though, is the first target, 1:41.041. He's only got to find really 2/10 to go second quickest once again. It's neater and tidier than it was coming onto the pit straight last time around. He goes over the line, but a 1:42.535 is not an improvement. Of course, the circuit, you could argue, with that little gravel patch lying on the road, no longer as clean and as quick as once it was. You've got to take account of that after the big spin from ARYA SINGH earlier on. And you can see that they're pushing more and more drivers starting to run a bit wider. KARTHIK THARANI, fourth quickest. This is how we run at the moment. RAGHUL Rangasamy is the fastest from Sandeep Kumar. ANINDITH REDDY third. KARTHIK THARANI is fourth quickest. Fifth is Chetan Korada. And then sixth fastest, despite the spin, is ARYA SINGH. So KARTHIK THARANI heads towards the end of the lap. Over the timing line he goes. And that's his best yet, a 1:41.340. Keeps him fourth fastest, frustratingly. But KARTHIK THARANI then bringing down that gap, and importantly, that's another driver now within that magic second. So you've got the top four all covered by just under a second. It's getting more and more competitive as we run through the session here. Number one, SAMPATH Kumar, still, I'm afraid to say, the slowest in this session. But like others, he's been chipping away, trying to bring down the time. 91 into shot there, Siddharth Trevalora, and behind him is SAMPATH Kumar. Number 91 then, in the all-red car, is Trevalora, currently seventh fastest. SAMPATH Kumar behind, trying to benefit perhaps from following the lines of a quicker driver ahead of him, but for the moment it's not really helping the lap times too much. Through he will come. There you've got number one, SAMPATH Kumar, but being far more circumspect than others at the moment. Who was the last improver of note? Sandeep Kumar, second fastest, even closer to Rangasamy now, because 1:40.758 is the best lap time that Kumar has done. So he's brought the gap down. You're looking at 91, Siddharth Trevalora. He's coming up towards the end of a lap. So over the timing line goes Trevalora. And you can see that he's had a couple of excursions as well. His air intake's much fuller of grass than those of ANINDITH REDDY after he ran wide coming out of the last corner. So plenty of people here offering lots of commitment in this session. The pit lane for the moment is quite quiet and calm. Will it stay that way? I fear not. So we have now just under 6 minutes of the session to go. There is ANINDITH REDDY, who is third fastest. His last lap was a 42.578. His best is a 41.280, so he's got work to do. A little bit crossed up coming into that final corner. Up towards the timing line he will go. And ANINDITH REDDY does a 1:41.190. So he goes quicker but stays third, frustratingly for him. ANINDITH REDDY then third fastest. Still the top four covered by 9/10 of a second. You can see how the road is being cleared as well there on the run up towards turn 2. So we've got now just 5 more minutes of the session remaining. And having said that, the flag has gone out. So the countdown still has 5 minutes, but the checkered flag has just been waved. So the flag is out, and it's there on the timing screen as well as out of the window. I can see the marshal has shown the checkered flag. So although we had another 5 minutes still to run, the session is brought to an end. And RAGHUL Rangasamy then, provisionally the fastest. KARTHIK THARANI has taken the flag. There over the line goes Siddharth Trevalora, up to fifth at the very end, 1:41.468. Through goes ARYA SINGH. He stays seventh. SAMPATH Kumar is behind him. And he will stay ninth, 1:46.872 his time. So over the timing line goes Ishan Dodiwala, and he has done a 1:42.472 to go 8th fastest. Big slide in the background from ANINDITH REDDY, 1:41.190 the best. That was 4/10 down. He ends up 4th quickest, but a big slide, and you argue that it might have been a better lap but for that spin. So RAGHUL Rangasamy ends as the fastest, 0.357 of a second up on KUMAR come the end of the session. And getting a replay of Trivalori and Singh at the end of their session. And in fact, I'll tell you a lie, they are not in replay, they are on their in-lap. So the drivers will make their way down the pit road. And RAGHUL Rangasamy, the fastest by 0.357 of a second come the end of the free practice period. So there you can see the engineers getting themselves ready, and the team's ready to receive the cars, and they will be out on track this afternoon for the all-important qualifying session. Now down in the pit lane, soaking up the sunshine, topping up the tan is Louise Beckett. Hello, Louise.
Well, RAGHUL Rangasamy was the fastest in that practice session. He set the time fairly early on, but as you can see, the 99 car came in less than halfway through the session, and RAGHUL's now gone for lunch. So he's obviously celebrating that fast lap.
So offer a few more brake horsepower with lunch, I say. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Louise, for the moment. So everybody down the pit lane, and as I say, they will be on track later on today for the second free practice session. In fact, I tell you what, I qualifying first thing tomorrow morning, so they get a second free practice period a little bit later on in the day. But we will have the cars for the MRF 2000 free practice period on track at 13:40. They are followed in turn by the FLGB 1300s, followed by the saloons, and then the MRF single-seaters, the 1600s and the 2000s, back on track to round out the day. So we have the drivers, as I say, down the pit road. Everybody back in, they've done the in-lap, and looking down the pit lane, I think indeed RAGHUL Rangasamy has either been told to deviate from lunch or has had a very quick lunch and come back to see the team in the pit lane. So let's try and hear from the fastest man. RAGHUL Rangasamy is with Louise.
Well, yeah, RAGHUL has made it back. Were you off at lunch? That was a good time for you.
I can't hear you.
It was a good time in that session.
Yes, I think I got a pretty good time. I didn't drive the first round of the season, so it's the first time I'm sitting in this car after so many months. So I think I did a 1:40, so it should be a good time.
Okay, and how is the track feeling out there? What's the conditions like?
Yeah, the track, it's missing out a little bit of rubber, so we don't have that much of grip. So I think in the later on, next few sessions, we'll be having good grip.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Louise. Thanks to RAGHUL Rangasamy as well, who is the man to beat then in the 1600s at the moment. And the next cars that we will have on track are going to be those for the MRF 2000s, but that will be after the lunch break here. So let's confirm how things look at the end of free practice for the MRF 1600s. Fastest RAGHUL Rangasamy, and the margin coming down and down as the session wore on. KUMAR second quickest ahead of KARTHIK THARANI, ANINDITH REDDY fourth, and then fifth quickest Siddharth Trivalori. But those top four drivers getting more and more competitive as the session wore on, and Rangasamy has got some tough opposition heading into the second free practice session, and that will be on track at 15:40 local time.